Hey guys, I'm here with your market update, and before we get started, I'm going to need you to know that I have a smoke detector somewhere in my house that needs a new battery. So realtors, they're just like you. So don't mind the chirping. So I wanted to get started real quick here by addressing what market we're in and talking a little bit about home demand. So for the purposes of classification, our MLS puts Southern Maryland within the greater DC market. That market is comprised of DC Metro, the Maryland, West Virginia Panhandle, Northern Central Virginia, and Southern Maryland. And they also put out a home demand index where they compile the market data and, talk about what the home demand is, what the trend is. So for the month of October, they have the home demand listed for the greater DC market as being steady overall. However, when you break it down, DC Metro and Northern Central Virginia are rated as having steady demand for the month of October, whereas the Maryland, West Virginia Panhandle rated a little bit better as having moderate demand, and Southern Maryland actually rated at the top of the index as having high demand. So when you're talking about, what is the DC market doing, Southern Maryland is the hottest thing in the DC market. So that's important to know and very interesting. Keep that in mind as you're reading through these news stories. Now, breaking it down further, within Southern Maryland, Charles County had the highest demand, comes as no surprise. Calvert had moderate demand, and St. Mary's rated as having steady demand. Also, breaking down what happened in October. So, from October 1st through the 31st, in Southern Maryland, there were 433 properties sold, a median sale price of $399,900. Median days on market was 15, and on average, properties sold for 99.6% of their original list price. As we go through this market update, I'm going to deal mostly with medians, and that's because of the outliers. So if you remember anything from your, high school statistics class, which I try not to, but, we get the outliers from time to time that can really kind of skew the data overall. So I'm going to focus on medians where it makes more sense to focus on medians, and averages where it's going to make more sense to focus on averages. So now I want to talk about what's currently happening in the market. So I pulled some stats from the MLS. These are focusing on the last 7 days, so the 3rd through today, the 10th, in Southern Maryland, and this is for standard residential sales only. No distressed properties, no short sales or foreclosures, anything like that. No land lot listings, and I also eliminated new construction sales, and that's because what we talked about before, the outliers. They have a tendency to skew the data as far as days on market go, and even with shifts in prices. So I really wanted to focus on the resale market, currently existing homes that are sold, so that we can see what's happening in the market without those outliers kind of skewing the data one way or the other. So for the last 7 days, we had 85 new listings. We had 30 properties uploaded into the MLS in coming soon status, and we had 80 properties go under contract. We also had 78 properties close, 78 properties sell in Southern Maryland over the last 7 days, and you ready? You ready to be scared? All right, 77 price decreases. I know, you're freaking out. It's okay, we're gonna talk about it. All right, so first though, I wanna talk about the closed sales. Overall, 78 houses closed in Southern Maryland over the last 7 days. Of those, the median sale price was $385,000. Median days on market was 16. On average, those properties sold for 99.3% of their original sales price. So let's, take that back to the month of October. The month of October overall, the median days on market for those sold was 15. And on average, the property sold for 99.6% of their original list price. We're talking about in the last week, 16 days on market and 99.3% of their original list price. So we're right there, right there with what happened in October. Okay, guys, but I know you're still freaking out about those price decreases, so it's time to talk about those. So we did have quite a few price decreases over the last 7 days. However, like I said in my last video, we just need to talk about adjusting expectations. So sellers, the days of somebody showing up with a suitcase full of cash the second you list your property, those are over, but it's still a seller's market. Our seller's market looks a lot more like a pre-pandemic seller's market, a little more sustainable of a seller's market. So we've got just nowhere near the amount of houses on the market that we need for buyers, but out of those that we do have, we've got many that are overpriced. And there's a lot of factors that go into that, but sellers need to be getting really good data from their realtors, and they need to be listening to it and adjusting their expectations so that they can get a good sale. And buyers, you do have a lot more leeway now than you did over those last couple years. However, houses that are still priced correctly, are still selling very fast. So that's where we're at on a whole, okay? The price decreases, let's go through them. The lowest days on market for those was 7. The highest was 165. And the median days on market for those price decreases was 35. Now, we know that the median days on market for everything that closed in October overall was 15. And we know that the median days on market for the houses that sold in the last 7 days was 16. So 35 is a lot. Those absolutely should be decreasing in price, and that shows you that they were priced too high. So that's it, guys. That's all I've got for you. That's your Southern Maryland update for November 10th, 2022. And if you have any specific questions or want to dig in deeper on any of this, shoot me a message and, we'll get started. All right. Thanks.